We're live. What's up, guys? We're here. We're live. It's happening. Hopefully you guys can hear. I've got a little bit of a adjusted setup today. Changed some stuff around. So, yeah. We'll kind of be seeing how that works out. Thank you, Winter Gamer. I appreciate that. Thanks, T1000. What's up, dudes? Does anybody know the thumbnail artist's name? I made the thumbnail, but I didn't do the artwork of the dogman, if that's what you're asking. I usually do all my own thumbnails for the most part. Good afternoon, my man. We hear you. We can hear you. Sweet. Oh, you know what? How dare I forget my mic for... What's going on, guys? We're going to be doing stories of skinwalker-like beings that are normally called, they're called night spiders. And they're like these arachnid shapeshifter-type beings. That's what we're doing. We got the whole gamut, man. We got YouTube, we got Twitch, we got Facebook, we got TikTok, man. We got a whole bunch of people going. This is awesome. What are your thoughts about the rising cost of cheese? I have no idea about that, buddy. All right, so if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get into some stories. Let's go on videos. Appreciate that, guys. All right. Oh yeah. It's an interesting type of cryptid. So we'll just go ahead and get into some stories, guys. I got about 8,000 words worth of stories to read you guys for this segment. I'm going to be doing several different lives today. They're going to be kind of broken up, so you guys just have to bear with me on that one. All right. I won't be talking as much in between. What's up, Lamb Chops? Missed you, buddy. Yeah, so I'm just trying to give you guys the stories. All right, here we go. Let me go ahead and pull my stories up. All right. Again, this is a live reading. This is for the episodes coming up tonight. You guys get to see all the mistakes, all the hiccups, all the breaks, all that fun stuff. So that's why it's behind the scenes, right? All right, here we go. In late April of 1937, a Ute Indian by the name of John Walker says that he encountered a night monster spider that spoke and warned against entropy while it wound its claws around him. According to the Sioux Nations, a skinwalker can act as a bear, a wolf, or a coyote, even a fleshwalker, or a moon-illuminated skinwalker, a subcult of skinwalkers. There have been reports of many white natives. There have been reports of many moon natives. Commonly, the Sioux and the... Screwing this one up already, guys. Commonly, the Sioux and the Ute refer to these humanoid spider-like beings with multiple arms and distorted faces with large fangs. While not necessarily resembling that of a spider, half man, half spider like you would think from the name, it's actually been called a night spider for many who have seen it. Many believe, like skinwalkers, that these are actually a derivative of skinwalkers or shapeshifters, originating of the practice of shapeshifting and dark magic. While rarely talked about, there are several reports of seeing these strange arachnid-like cryptids for years and years. Often, much more rare than people would like to talk about. These have been known to be spotted by a well-known explorer of cryptids, Richard Freeman, more often than not in obscure and deserted areas all throughout the country. Although it is doubtful they can be caught, as they quickly dart back into the night after fleeing from an encounter. I can't be certain as to what tribes and cultures of natives have their own experiences with these beings, like they do with Bigfoot and Dogmen. Again, I'll state that these beings are dangerous in their own right, but I believe they are a sect of skinwalkers that use their dark magic to contort their bodies to evil-looking things. During the days of the Blackfeet and Sioux Wars, a Sioux Indian by the name of Little Coyote claims he was sucked up into the sky by the spirit of a skinwalker. He claims he was sucked up into the sky and somehow ended up in a dark cavern, is how he described it. Surrounding him in the cavern were these night spider creatures, what he described as half man, half beast, with multiple arms, black hair, and huge fangs all over their face. Terrified, he managed to break free and managed to break free of the trap. The question remains, how is it that he got sucked up into the sky? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's going on? Yeah, we're having some audio issues, man. What's going on here? Let me look back and see my stuff. Alright, how's it going? Is it going? How's it now? Hopefully it should be good. I'm hoping it's good. Best hairline on the planet. Hi. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Got to reload my project. It's probably because I have two interfaces going on at the same time. Yeah, on last night's stream, I wasn't narrating and doing this at the same time. Okay. Oh, it actually disconnected, huh? Alright, let's see here. I think I can figure this out. We're just having a little bit of technical errors, guys. No worries. What the heck? Government hacking you. Something. Well, my mic was in, but now it's saying that it's not in, so I got to, I'm having some connection issues. I may have to go ahead and actually, oh wait a minute, did I get it? Hopefully I'm not putting too much stress on, come on, man. Alright, this just is not one of its thing. What's going on, Kit Kat? We're having some hiccups. But see, this is the beauty of behind the scenes, man. You guys get to see all this stuff. Think about like watching a movie, you know? You get to see all the nitty gritty. Even the stuff that's not so entertaining to watch. That's why you're here. Alright, I gotta reset that. Redo that. Put that back on. Okay. Hopefully, I don't know how much or how often this is going to happen. I hope it's not a reoccurring issue, but you know what? That's life, guys. You roll with the punches. Dean, come on, man. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay. We're back. All I had to do was disconnect my thing. So, what it's looking like, I don't know if I could show on camera. Maybe I can. I don't know if it'll stretch that far. Nope. So you guys kind of get an idea of what's happening here. I don't think I can. No, I'm not gonna try. So I basically have two separate audio interfaces running from my computer. One, so you can actually hear this mic right here. This mic right here. This is for my Twitch stream. And then I have this one here, which is actually the mic that I'm narrating into for Lurks Beneath. So, because you can't have both signals going at the same time for one stream. So you just gotta make it work this way. Yeah, Dean, you're crazy, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the compliments. All right, we're ready to get back to what we're doing, guys. I'm sorry for the hiccup. Okay. All right, where were we? Where were we? The question remains, how was it that he was sucked up in a place and then somehow underground? It doesn't really make any sense. Nope. The question remains is that he was sucked up into the sky, but yet somehow pulled underground. Is it possible that he was abducted and then, while unconscious, placed underground? We don't know. Although there have been sightings of cryptids, night spiders aren't talked about all that much. Not as much as you would think. Okay. I'm still getting my flow for this, guys. Alright, next story. Some of these are shorter stories, some of these are longer. What's going on, guys? I thought night spiders were... No. Scarpro, what's going on, guys? What up? Okay. This was years ago, and I'm still terrified by what I experienced this night. This was from another world, and I've heard of skinwalkers, and seen this coyote thing come onto our field multiple times, but never did I imagine I would encounter anything like what we saw, what my brother-in-law would refer to. Like what my brother-in-law would refer to as something called a night spider. Before I get more into that, there would be mornings where I would see this tall, upright walking coyote thing, kind of just hanging around our field. Like it was always waiting and watching for the next opportunity to do something. It was incredibly unnerving. It would always just be crouching down in the tall grass and watching. There had been a couple of times it tried to make moves on some of our small dogs and livestock, and it did. They'd go missing. Our entire chicken coop was taken, along with all the chickens in it. It was a small coop and not wired into the ground. Anyway, one morning, I look off to the left into the field. I don't see anything. I look to the right into the field, and I see this skinwalker creature that's staring back at me. Off in the distance, I see it almost every couple of mornings. It's out there and I want nothing to do with it. The same thing happens to my brother-in-law. He's very devout in the Navajo way. And he doesn't believe in what we call skinwalkers. It's like he's forced himself to confront this thing. One morning, he's out there in the field and this skinwalker, faceless, sneaks up from behind him, real close. How did it know my brother-in-law is Navajo? How does it know he's a spiritual man? It's like it puts thoughts in the mind and does what it wants. He wasn't seeing that, of course, but I captured what was... Wait, what? It's just a powerful energy. It was about as hideous as you can imagine it being. It grabs hold of my brother, and he's screaming prayers in Navajo, and this thing takes complete hold of him, dragging him back while subduing him. After it gets to about the edge of the field and lets go of him, it flees off, continuing to pray and shout. I'm not sure what my brother-in-law said, but it must have worked. The skinwalker had let go of him and fled off into the woods nearby. Right after he was freed, he's going crazy, telling me to never encounter it, never go looking for it. Although, I don't go looking for it, at least I do my best not to. I try and keep my distance from these things, if you understand. Being a traditional Navajo has a purpose, but a lot of Christian religions are more open. Part of me understands because it's validation for a lot of Navajo way practitioners to accept. That's there I mean. There would be a lot of people not believing without visual proof. You know what I mean? Like, when I first saw it in the morning, I would tell my father-in-law and my wife's father what I saw. They'd say that I saw it 2 days prior in the same spot. And as it started getting closer, I'd tell a friend, and he'd say how he saw it 2 days again. Some people aren't really into that, or understanding the Navajo way. So, I respect that everybody has to make up their own mind. Now, the following couple of nights, this thing comes back, but it's much scarier than before. The first few times that we'd all seen it, it tried taking my brother-in-law, and it was in its coyote form. I say coyote form because that's the only way I can accurately depict what this thing looked like. When it came back the following night, or a few nights later, it looked something akin to that of a night spider. If you don't know, night spiders are a branch of shapeshifters under the skinwalker umbrella, and they specialize shapeshifting into these abominable beings. Instead of wearing animal skins like traditional skinwalkers, they use their dark magic to contort and turn into these hideous beings. They usually have multiple arms and large claws on each hand, deep sunken and black eyes, large black fangs protruding from their chest and mouth. They crawl more on their fours than they do walk around upright. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of these cryptids, but that's what I've heard them referred to as by many of the natives. I had no idea they were even a thing until I saw one with my own eyes the following night, as I'm about to discuss. So, I'm outside at night, pondering the day, having a small glass of whiskey that I just poured myself. I hadn't even taken into consideration that, well, I'd only had maybe 1 or 2 sips off the glass at the time, and I see this thing approaching from the field. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure everything was going good. Okay, we're cool. Don't want anybody to have any audio issues. Just want to make sure everything's kosher. The same spot where this creature disappeared the day before with my brother-in-law. I immediately knew it was this creature, but I did not recognize the form it was in. I just knew deep down it wasn't a good thing. As it came closer, even with how much light there was that night, I saw enough to horrify me. Immediately after its appearance, I went inside and woke up my wife. She had this big comforter over her, so I couldn't exactly see her face. I asked her about it first, and she's like, "No, there's nothing. You've just been drinking. It's the shadows." But I pushed that aside and wanted to make sure that she saw it too. I wanted assurance that I was not crazy. But she refused to budge, so I'm like, okay, screw it. And I go grab my 44 out of the closet, step back on the porch, and in that moment, I nearly soiled my britches right there. 10 feet away from the porch, this thing is just standing there, like it was standing its ground on a contested territory. I got a good look at this thing. It looked like it came from the pits of hell itself. It was maybe slightly more taller than 6 feet, and it looked exactly like the night spider that I had mentioned. It was challenging me, and so I slowly pulled out my 44 and aimed it right at the center of this thing. I felt like I couldn't pull the trigger, like this thing was controlling my body. I felt myself tense up and had this paralysis coming over me, shooting through my body. This creature slowly smirks at me, and I feel myself losing static noise. Hope this sounds alright. Thanks, but I'm hoping this sounds going good for you guys. Going good. Okay. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure we're live. In case you guys didn't know, on TikTok, I am also live on YouTube right now, too. If you guys want to check it out on there, you want to see my feed through my camera, it is What Lurks Beneath. You could also check me on my Unearthing Stories YouTube. I'm live on all those platforms as well as TikTok, so. Anyway, where was I? I felt like I couldn't pull the trigger. like this thing was controlling my body. I felt myself tense up and had this paralysis feeling shooting all throughout my body. This creature smirks at me slowly, and I felt myself losing total control of my body. My hand, with the finger still on the trigger, starts to turn my 44 inwards towards my chest. I'm frozen and can't fight off what is going on with my body, as this thing is practically controlling my own muscles. Just as I am putting the 44 right against my own chest, against my will, the loudest gunshot I'd ever heard goes off, and this thing gets shot right in the chest from behind and lets out a horrible scream, like you wouldn't believe. Instantly, I feel my muscles relax and I drop my 44. This thing starts screaming radically and begins running off into the night as my brother-in-law came to me. He felt something was wrong and came just in the nick of time, like some sort of crazy sixth sense or something. He had shot this thing nearly point blank right in the back, comes rushing over to me to make sure I'm okay. Let me just say that as I'm recalling these events, I'm trying to do my best not to make it sound like some crazy fake story. I want to express it in a way that it's terrifying but also does the story justice. And this thing was somehow nearly getting me to kill myself via mind control or something. This is when my brother-in-law, who, by the way, I already... What? What? Oh. Weird. We good. Where was I? This is when my brother-in-law, who, by the way, like I stated, is oh man. What is going on? Dude, I got some gremlins on the stream tonight. I think what's going on is that this computer is having a really rough time having two separate audio things going at the same time. I mean, I don't know. A lot of the people do it. So bear with me, guys, as I work out all the kinks. What's going on, guys? Hi, guys. So this is fun. Super Dad, what's up, man? What's going on, Super Dad? So yeah, I'm waiting. My audio thing is having a really rough time. There we go. Just had to give it a minute. All right. Am I gonna get it back? No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't touch anything. Dude, honestly, if you can keep up with every one of my vids, you're crazy. You are crazy. There's no way I could even do that. I honestly can't even remember stories that I narrated like 2 months ago. The fact that you can keep up is just... Dude, you deserve a medal. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I see. That probably helps pass the time, don't it? Hurt Locker from Angels is on TV. I don't know what that is. Okay, well, you know what? I have an idea. Luckily, I was able to save my progress here. I'm going to try... See if I can try a different routing thing. You know what? We're going to do this. Give me a second, guys. Bear with me real quick. Okay. First, let's move this around so I can have some leeway. Oh, son of a gun. Come on, man. This thing's sticking like crazy. Alright. Okay, that should kind of help loosen that up a little bit. There we go. Okay, that helps that part. Alright. Yes, I have two microphones going. Yeah, there really is. What's up, April Ground? How's it going? Edgar Allan Poe. Appreciate that. Yeah, there isn't a good way to find a specific story. You guys are right. Well, April, you're just in time, and anybody who's tuning in just in time, we're having some hiccups, so that's always fun. Okay, but I think I can get it worked out. So we'll see. Thank you. Thank you now. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can't we'll see what we can do here. I don't think it likes the fact that I'm using rebuke and reboot. No, it ain't a reboot issue, man. I wish it was. All right, you guys are gonna lose my mic here for just a second. All right, give me 1 second. Come on now. Okay, we cool? We good? I think so. I think we're good. Yeah. Okay. We got that covered. All right, Reaper. All right, let me see what I can do to get this figured out. What's positive grid? What is that? That's not what I want. Oh. I hope no. Oh gosh, I hope I didn't just the whole thing. Okay. Did this work? Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. So if you're just joining us, we are having some issues. Apparently Reaper doesn't like that I'm recording with two things, so strike up a conversation. Maybe chit chat, stay a while, hang out. I'll get back to the stories the second I get this thing going. No, dude, before, like, long time ago, before I literally gave zero craps about, I would just, like, read a story. Like, now, I really try to thoroughly, especially, like, with like, town names and stuff. Yeah, there's some, like, or there'd be stuff I'd pronounce I didn't even realize I even did it until, like, I listened back, and, like, once it's already released, I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. Like, they just, like, autopilot spoke. I didn't even think about it. All right. We got to figure out what's going on here. Why is this happening? Is it because... Is this a psychic? What's up, Dustin? No, we're reading scary stories, but we're reading scary stories here, but I'm having some audio hiccups, so that's what's going on. Oh, please, April, please. No, you'd be the first. I mostly get dudes and old women. You would be the first. Oh, here it is. Here's the window that I need. Yeah, that is definitely not what I want. Dustin, you look familiar, buddy. I say that about a lot of things, though. Okay, well, that doesn't need to be on, and that... What is this stuff? No, none of this even needs to be on. What on earth? Okay, think I'm getting it figured out, guys. I think I could do gaming. It'd just be kind of hard to maneuver the time, but yeah, I could see what I could do to try and figure it out. I just don't have a lot of time for it. And the thing is, like, if you're gonna stream gaming, thank you, April. I appreciate that. Yeah, the thing is, if you're going to do that, like stream gaming or like really anything, you should really have a set schedule. And it's really hard for me to adhere to a set, like it's really hard for me to commit to a set streaming schedule. I can like do it often, but as far as like if I could be at this place every single time without all the other responsibilities that I have like other business ventures that I'm doing, so that's why it's hard for me to commit. Okay, let's try it now. Yes, no, maybe, possibly. Perhaps. Okay, well, I'm getting... That's picking up. Hello. That is not picking up. What in tarnation? Yeah, no, I did. I got up at about 8, so I got 4 hours. Do you like Steve White's voice? I don't know who Steve White is. Thanks for the heads up. Appreciate that. What did I give you the heads up about? I don't even know. Oh, maybe about we're having hiccups? Okay. Let's see what we can do to figure this. You guys are waiting so patiently. I really, really appreciate that. You guys are being very kind. Well, guys, I'm going to try and be doing the face streaming thing as often as possible. Strange, mysterious dudes. He good, too. What games do you play? Michigan got a bunch of weird ones. Mainly, I've been playing some Diablo 2. But only when I have the free time. All right. What would be causing this not to, Yeah, what could be the issue here? You know, I have an idea. I think I know what it's gonna take. I think. This is gonna suck, but if it's what I gotta do, it's what I gotta do. All right. I think what I have to do is I have to keep reconnecting and disconnecting my audio interface. My Zoom restart PC. Now I can just disconnect and reconnect this one. I don't know why it's being so finicky, but you know what? The show must go on, folks. The show must go on. I am an entertainer and a narrator, so in the meantime, I gotta keep you guys somewhat entertained. What up, man? Technical difficulties will always happen. Just a part of life, man. Just a part of life. All right. Pray that this works out. Oh, did I set this sample right quickly? I think I did. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, why? What? What did I just do? I did something. This is not good. Okay, first off, can you guys on the stream, can you guys hear me good? Like, is it not coming through for just one channel? I must have done something very silly because my input... Why is it coming through? What? Okay, yeah. All my checks and balances are there. What's going on here? Like, I can hear myself. It's working, but I'm only coming out of one ear. Oh, now it's coming out the other ear. What on earth? I got some gremlins, man. But where's my mixer at? Test. Oh, oops, wrong one. Test. No, I have the signal. Okay, we're good. I can only hear it out of one ear for some reason. Hello? Yeah, but whatever. Nice, rich sound. Here, let me do this. This way, you guys have the best of both worlds. It was somewhat choppy. Yeah, over streams, we'll get it all figured out. All right. How are you guys looking out there in YouTube land? We good? I think so. All right. Let's continue, please. You poor people have been waiting and waiting and waiting. All right. Let me get ready to go back here. Where was I? This is for my brother-in-law. I'm looking. Here we go, right here. I highlighted it. Okay, here we go. We're back to the stories. This is where my brother-in-law, who, by the way, like I stated, is full Navajo, and told me about night spiders, what they are and how they have this horrible ability to take possession of anybody they target, to make them do their evil bidding. He much refers to them as physical demons that have a form and shape. Anyway, there's not much else to add, but I wanted to say this before I had never ever really heard of a night spider before. Whether it's that of a skinwalker or whatever, they're extremely dangerous beings that should be kept at a distance at all times as best as you can. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. I'm sure I've missed some details here along the way. Okay, because we were right there at the end of story 2. Okay. Okay, so that's definitely... Alright. You have a pop sound in your mic. Anyone else hear it? Big fan, great voice. And they're wrong. Look at your face. Greetings. 2 mics. Nice, MC. 2 mics sounds dangerous. Well, I got to. This one's for streaming, and this one is for the actual recording. And then you guys, off in TikTok world, you got this one. So 3 mics, actually. 3 mics, 1 dude. I like how it's like the same people hanging out in my live chat. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. I like it. All right. At the risk of this turning into a double S again. Here we go. hopefully this will do what it can do. I have a friend that I have known for years. He is both Native American and an avid hunter and outdoorsman. He has experience. Okay, you know what? I actually have an idea. I'm going to try something. How's this going to work? Well, we're going to figure something out right here in the air. I have a proposition. Oh, wait, that's why it won't work. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's why that won't work. All right, never mind. I have a friend that I've known for years. He is both Native American and an avid hunter and outdoorsman. He has experienced his share of strange things happening to him, but they do not fit entirely with a lot of the stories told of true skinwalkers. However, one particular time, I was shown some odd things that he said followed a strange encounter. He goes on some pretty strange country with very steep and rugged inclines. Elevation around 7,600 feet. One time, it was following a summer butchering, and he was down in Apache country, which is just below the Mogollon Rim. He was tracking a wounded deer. He was tracking a wounded deer that jumped into some dense brush, and after a couple of hours, he reaches the top of the catchment basin many, many hours later. After running and tracking, he then comes across a small cave with lots of old potsherds, which he examined at length to determine the condition they were in. Then he found some clay-like images that had seemingly been made either by pressing the trenching into the ground or by applying water. He told me that the more he left them alone, the better they would get. So he would like to go back there at night. Unfortunately, he's not been able to go back. I promised him I would not divulge into any of these secrets of his, and to the best of my ability as an investigator and explorer of these phenomenons, that is my promise to him. He has also had some other very strange happenings around the local environment. Usually, buffalo will trample along with the deer, and he said that only a few times did he actually catch either a creature or see its image not fully formed or a fleeting shadow. It is all very difficult when he tells me this to comprehend, but reality is, he is telling them the same as I'm about to tell you. The most horrible sighting he had was when he was walking about at nighttime, and claims he saw a creature unlike anything he's ever seen before. He described it as to have several arms with large black claw appendages, large black tusks on its face and its chest, ink black eyes, and covered in long hair. It moved at an extraordinary rate of speed, and, to be honest, he isn't sure what he saw. I mean, at all. It was like a mixture of both human and animal. Not like the whole werewolf thing, but this thing had appendages and tusks and eyes. Not quite humanoid, but not quite werewolf-like either. It looked different. It had long appendages and huge black claws. It was chasing him while he was in his truck. He said that it kind of reminded him of a large spider, but it was also like that of a man, with the way it ran, and it had this horrendous scream. After it lapped him entirely, it quit screaming, and he said he could just hear its movements in the brush on the side of the road as it was trailing away from him. He turned on the road, drove off, and he tells me he has never been so scared. I asked many questions of him because this whole thing just didn't make sense to me. I have since, over the course of about 2 to 3 hours conversing with him, seen him turn ashen white over his recollection of this event, and he said that this particular one was the creepiest thing he has ever experienced. He goes deep into Native American stories and how this figure is known as a skinwalker, or so he believes, and that this particular one is a very, very dark and powerful one, and there actually used to be a sect of them that guarded Indian villages. He also told me that what he thought that night was not a traditional skinwalker, but a witch who was far more powerful. When talking to me, he used the actual word his tribe calls them, and out of respect, I won't use the word, so I'll just say skinwalker. He said these beings were something else altogether, and they were not just skinwalkers. He also chased by something just the other night, what he believes to be the same creature. It could be another kind of spirit that was chasing him, but before I relay the story, I'll let him tell it from his perspective. He tells me this, and I quote, "I was walking through the Native American res grounds and mountains and heard what sounded like a loose metal sheet. A big Ford dump truck on a dirt road can do this with the right gravel. So I stopped to listen for it. I couldn't hear anything for a bit as my heart seemed to want to either speed up or implode. Something cool was blowing past my legs, and I stood still, trying to sort this out. After a minute, I walked with the current, and I slowly began to hear the metal noise. I realized that I was not near any of the roads in my area, just meadows. I hear something large running towards me, and when I shone my light, I saw it was the exact same creature as the night that it chased my truck. I turned and ran. It ran away, though, rather than give chase. I've been having thoughts of it over and over as I recall this experience, almost obsessively. Then, he tells me more that, interestingly enough, this is not the only encounter he has experienced around this area, and he has told me of a time that he was very young. He had gone to go hunting with his uncle, had come across a large buck. He was in a tree, and his uncle was on the ground. His uncle and him were talking, and the buck made the same grunt as his uncle made. These skinwalkers are said to be very smart. They know things. They imitate sounds and people, and see into the minds of people. His uncle drew his attention to this thing, and it began shapeshifting right in front of them into this large, beastly man covered in animal skins, and begins levitating. This person or being levitated away, like it just went up in the sky. Very slowly, but they never saw where it landed. He never heard anything from this at all, and it all happened so quickly. This is just a small list of all the things he's gone through. I'll see if maybe I can have him reach out to you, personally, and you can email him, or even interview him." That's a trippy one. That is pretty trippy. Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. How you guys liking it over there in YouTube land? Clear and tube. Yeah, we all know each other. I do. So what you guys are hearing on this mic, you're hearing all the room noise, you're hearing all the outside noise. There's a plane that keeps flying overhead. I have stuff that cuts all that out, so when it actually goes live on the recording, you don't hear that. But since we're actually doing a live take, that picks up. I have to cut all this out. When I first started off doing this stuff, I had no noise gates or anything, so like every background noise would pick up. People screaming in the background, all sorts of stuff. No, you don't. No, it'll come by every now and then. Because where this house is, it's like directly overhead, or excuse me, under the paths of planes. Speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. There's one right now. I don't know if it'll pick up though. It might not. Can you hear it? It's just like the sonic boom. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Luckily, yeah, barely, yeah. Okay. TikTok land, you guys shouldn't have to deal with these issues. Shouldn't have to hear it. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. Let me make sure that. Hold on. That this thing ain't gonna shut off here in a second. Cool. All right, you guys ready for the next one? Let's do it, man. Okay. So, wait. Nope. No. Okay. So, a few months ago, we were coming home from taking a friend to Phoenix. It was probably 12:30, 1 in the morning. I turned off on a road we usually take around to see if anything was around. We get to a waypoint that we usually use as a turnaround point. We shoot handguns out there all the time. 22s, typical plinking things that we do. You point the guns down a range, they shoot, you shoot them off, whatever, that's it. So, we got out to this point, already with a friend that stays at another ranch with us. And it's about a half mile to about 1 mile into an area. This is where we go all the time. It's pretty safe. It's another friend's property, actually, and we've never had any issues. There's also a lot of ATV trails around the area. There's also a lot of old ATV trails all around the area. Before we set anything up for night shooting, we started hearing these creepy sounds off in the dark. Now, me and my brother are both shining our lights around asking, "Did you hear that? Am I just hearing things? What is that?" This wasn't normal stuff here. We've heard things in the night like coyotes and just strange noises, but this was something else entirely. Like clicking noises and just strange sounds. So, desperately, we start looking around and try to identify the source of these strange and bizarre noises. When my brother, I hear him start cussing and running back to the truck. I turn to look and I see this thing running at him. Creeped out is a huge understatement here. Whatever this was had multiple long limbs and had these massive pincer-like things on its face and large black eyes. It was running full force. I took a couple of shots at it myself. We get back in the truck, make it a couple miles down the road, hauling butt, and were stopped by a cop who showed up because he was convinced we were shooting off into people's property. Our plans here were to go and have fun plinking, so we had to be careful not to tell the officer that we had seen this creature. He would have thought we were on drugs or something. We didn't just shoot out illegally, and he kept trying to make that the issue. So we got into a little bit of a gun argument, which here in Arizona, I don't know, it's not California-like, that you can do this and you can't do that. We're not saying that this is all. We all know the laws are just as is. Firearms can be very touchy here. They don't include recreational shooting, which we have a lot of out here, a lot of hunting. It creates issues apparently, and we held back from saying anything about the encounter with the cop. I mean, that's the thing. How do you prove a skinwalker? What I believe we encountered that night, how do you prove they exist? How do you prove we were How do you prove that we were a bunch of people who go to shoot and enjoy this stuff for fun, without looking like we were out to cause mischief? Again, I assume it was a skinwalker and not something else. But I don't know. I'm speaking from ignorance. You're the so-called expert here, so maybe you could help. See what I'm saying, guys? They're seeing this stuff all over the place, man. It ain't just made up. It's not just made up stories here. What do you guys think so far? Is it pretty creepy, man? I don't know what these people are saying, but this is creepy. Stop, please. Stop, please. Oh, about the dolls? Yeah. So for my audio is working a little bit better. As I say that, I'm crackling up right now. Ireland. Well, love from the States, buddy. Ireland's awesome. Ireland is a cool place, man. Cool place. Love back to your country, dude. All right, here we go. My parents always owned a bunch of land. They had about 100 or so acres, and they only used... Nope, take two. My parents always owned a bunch of land, and they have roughly 100 acres. They only ever used a couple for their own horses and for everything. There's this one part on the tree line that we've been seeing a lot of evidence of some sort of animal in our backyard. Like, whenever my grandpa goes to take care of it, it just disappears into the woods and can't be seen from our backyard. We've tried to relax about it and begin hunting, but without any luck. It was just doing some stalker stuff like in the movies. So, I got told a couple of weeks ago that this creature has killed my gang's cow. This thing, whatever it is, ate all the guts and whatever that was inside the cow, leaving the body to kind of dry up. But the calf was still perfectly intact, just dead. The chickens will even try to chase it away, I guess, if it gets too close to our house. I guess that's why the coop and everything about them is gone. I know for a fact it hides in the woods. I know it does. Whenever the dog looks away, we see it stand up and stay, though, that it can't be... This guy is having a rough time Englishing, I can tell. I'm trying to, interpret his writing here. Whenever the dog looks away, we see it stand up and stay, though it can't be seen. And when it has, it would run. Okay. Whenever the dog looked away, we could see it stand up and stay, even though before that it could not be seen, and when it did, it would run. It's looking more and more like a skinwalker every day. I've read enough stories online to see that many people deal with things like this on a daily basis. I think that's what I'm dealing with. Our livestock, when we put them out, they start acting super timid and scared. We know this thing is around. There's no denying that. We proceed to hear these weird screeches and growls all throughout the hours of the night. And when it does, the glowing yellow eyes never fail to accompany them, and livestock always go missing after. We're scared. Help me. That was a pretty terrifying abrupt ending. You know, guys, I figured it out. Everyone always talks about my narration voice. You know where I get it from? Vic Hundiff, dude. Vic Hundiff. That's totally what it is. It's from all those, I listened to his content for 2 years before I did this channel. That's what it is. It's the Vic Hundiff voice. That's my narration voice. I just had that epiphany. He enunciates and talks the exact same way. But if you've ever listened to Vic Hundiff in interviews, he that's his normal speaking voice. He still talks that way. That's his all-time speaking voice. So, but he's always kind of got this radio personality thing going on. And I'm like, man, that's cool. No, seriously. But I didn't intentionally go into it thinking about that. It kind of just developed that way. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, who this voice sounds, I can't pinpoint it, but it sounds like, sure enough, Vic. I'm like, Vic, bro. Yeah, it's all Vic. I'm basically Vic Hundiff 2.0 here. But again, I've heard him in interviews, and he talks the exact same way. Definitely had to pop up. It'd probably be interesting having a pretty normal conversation with Vic too, huh? Vic, what's your opinion? Well, I'd love to see Vic doing like other channels where he's like teaching you how to do like story make me sleep. Your voice is beautiful. Thank you, Buttercup. I appreciate that. It's definitely not a bad thing at all. It's just like an epiphany that I had. All right, ready? My audio seems to be kind of like evening out, so I'm not sure. I'm listening back. Okay. We good, fam. We good. Thank you guys, just by the way, before I start this next story, just thank you guys so much for like just coming to hang out. Not just to listen to the stories, but just to hang out. You know, that's pretty cool. Appreciate it. And I like that it's a lot of the same faces. That's even cooler. And what's even more fun is this won't be the only time I'm live today. So, all right. Anyway, let's start the next batch. We had been driving for hours, holding up against the late night traffic for close to an hour and a half. It felt like rush hour, and the miles melted under us in a slow motion, as if we were traveling through a dimension where time and space was distorted, and the speed of light was no longer a constant. All of a sudden, that same car that had been tailgating at the same time, that same car that had been tailgating us pulled up alongside. At first, I was awestruck by the fact that there seemed to be something wrong with the driver as they zoomed past by, but I didn't think much about it. Once we made it out of the city, the fog around us seemed to clear up a bit, but only for a brief few moments. From the distance, I see some lights flashing. We keep driving, but at a slower pace out of caution. I was hesitant to pull over when I see this large, what I can only describe, now hear me out, as a demon come barreling towards my car from the darkness. It was this 8-9 foot tall monster, piercing black eyes and a jet black fur. Eyes that looked... Lost my place. I'm sorry, guys. Piercing dark eyes, razor claws, and skin that was gross looking, like it was dark and leathery, and it had large pincher-like fangs from its face, jet black eyes, and it even appeared to have multiple arms all down its back. It came rushing at my car head first, and I had to swerve out of the way just enough in time to ensure I did not crash around another driver in the oncoming lane. I have no idea what I had just witnessed, but I now know that this was no person in a costume, it wasn't some escaped gorilla, it wasn't anybody or any animal I had ever seen or known about. I should have called the cops. I didn't. I just sat at the side of the road, trying to process what just happened. What did I saw? As this is going on, I see it again in my rearview mirror. This time, further down the road out of the fog. It was coming in my direction, chasing my vehicle. It was too close to make me feel anywhat comfortable, so I quickly pulled up out of that spot and I started driving at breakneck, very illegal speeds to try and get away from whatever this being was. Look, I'm sorry I'm terrible at writing my own story down, but that's the basic premise of what happened. Northern Miami, beautiful place, man. We're just reading some scary stories. That's what's going on. What is this? What is this? What is this waffle? I like that. From now on, guys, if there's a crappy story, it's going to be a waffle. Like, oh, yeah, the story's definitely a waffle. That's for sure. Kudos to Ethan McCarthy. Thanks, buddy. That's a beautiful suggestion. It's pretty funny, too. Pretty funny, too. Hello, Lurks Beneath. What's up, Queen Tab 25? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. What is this waffle? He's the one that said it, not me. I don't know if he was in reference to the story not being good or what, but I like it. I like it. I hope my stories are well. So next time I'm like, you know what, guys? I got a big batch of waffles I'm cooking up for you. Know that it's going to be just terrible stories. Just awful. You know, you'll want to avoid the episode altogether. What is this? So next time a crappy story comes up, just like hashtag it, man. Hashtag waffle. But like, the only thing that's gonna save this waffle is some damn syrup and some butter. It'd be like, Lurks, this isn't breakfast time. Stop making waffles. Oh, that is too funny. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Ethan. You have brought joy to my audience. What's this live about? Bam Mud Bucket. We are just doing some scary stories, particularly about skinwalkers, man. We're reading some live story. I'm shooting for an episode of What Lurks Beneath. What Lurks Beneath is it's a basically horror narration YouTube channel. Anyway, waffle so oh boy. Either way, waffle wrap, moist wraps, maybe porridge on it. Gennis, I'm gonna say Guinness. And candied pecans. Candied pecans. All right. It was chilly. It was a chilly, foggy evening here in Southwest Washington. I often took my children biking out for... Take 3. This happens sometimes. It was a chilly, foggy evening here in Southwest Washington. I often took my children out biking here in the evenings to get a quick bit of exercise before they settled down for the night. I wasn't looking forward to this run for the usual reasons. Not only were there no close bike paths, but the air today was chilly, and the fog had been pretty thick for most of the day. It was enough to disrupt visibility, not just of the nearby branches and shrubs, but even other people. I didn't like that. As a parent, I preferred clear and total visibility. There was always a reason to be a little concerned, but this evening, something felt different. Something was off. We were out for maybe a half hour when my daughter, angry at her sibling, lashed out and punched him. They had been fighting all evening up until this point, and I had just about had enough. Angrily, telling them enough, we turned around and headed back as punishment. The only thing left to do was now set our sights towards home. I turned from and took the lead. And a look of shock was on my face. I tried my best to focus on the darker part of the path, and I found myself looking at what I can only decipher as one thing: a single roadside reflector. The low light caused it to kind of stand out on the side of the empty blacktop road. As I'm looking up and just kind of taking in my surroundings of the ever-dimming light, I see movement off in the brush next to me. A creature gazed back at me, tall, hunched over, with multiple legs, and these large, bulbous black eyes staring at me. We all pedaled as fast as we could down the road. I told my son to pick up the bike, and we hightailed it out of there soon after. He didn't speak for long, and only when I asked him if he saw anything like Mommy did. His big poor eyes told me everything I needed to know. He saw it too, and pointed down the road, saying it was that thing just down there that he saw, and it looked like a spider monster, is what he said. I have to assume that this was our warning. I don't know why it's so hard for me to trust my gut instinct in retrospect. In any case, I wasn't proud. I'm sorry if this seems frazzled and all over the place, but we don't bike in this area anymore, ever after this incident. And to date, I have no idea what we saw. Weird. Very weird. Very strange. Very strange. The real McCoy gets fish and raspberries. Wow. Lurkers. Oh, that's a cool fan name. Lurkers. I like it. I never thought about that. I never thought of it. I like it. So they look very loud. Dude, coffee, man. Coffee. This is my second cup. But see, I'm an espresso guy. Like, I can't do. So here's the thing: I cannot do diner coffee at all. I hate that. I have to have like strong. So generally, I'm all about like. I don't know if you guys ever use a French press. I have to have like cowboy coffee. I mean, I do strong. I mean, it's got to be like. It can't be like overpowering to where it's like just bitter. I mean, but it's just got to be potent coffee, dude. Coffee is life. I don't drink beer. I don't drink alcohol. Coffee is my crutch, man. Coffee is my crutch. See, I used to drink beer, but honestly, I don't like with alcohol and like even beer. It makes me tired, and I don't like wine. I don't like drinks that make me like slow down or like relaxed or tired. I like things that kind of make you uppity, you know. And there's just something about coffee, dude, it just puts a pep in my step. I love it, man. I have like 2 cups a day. I love it. It's the first thing I think about when I get up in the morning, and it's the only thing I think about in the afternoon. Love strong, yes, yes. With strong. Well, Mr. Red Devil, if you stop at Pits and Pistols, you can get some strong coffee. Strong coffee. Not in trouble anymore whatsoever. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I know a lot of guys, you know, coffee is my friend. I mean, like, it's not that like beer isn't like tasty. It's just, I don't know. I'd rather have fall. Sorry, I read your thing midnight. I'd rather have coffee. I'd rather just stay clear of alcohol. TBH. All right, next story, guys. I was outside with a group of friends on vacation in Maryland. At the time, I was a Marine sergeant stationed in Germany. We had spent the day. Nope. Take 2. I was outside with a group of friends on vacation in Maryland. At the time, I was a Marine sergeant stationed in Germany. Wait a minute, what? Explain to me how this makes sense. He's outside with a group of friends, but at the time he's also stationed in Germany. Is he meaning that was like part of his career? I'm not sure how that works. Anyway. All right. I was outside with a group of friends on vacation in Maryland. At the time, I was a Marine sergeant stationed in Germany. We had spent the day outdoors burning stuff we didn't want, and at about 2,200 hours, we had decided to go to our cabin. It was on a mountain about 5 miles west outside of Cumberland. At the time, our memory was that we started to hear some popping that sounded like light firecrackers around 2,300 hours. I had a counter with me, and I heard no clicks, and so I didn't think much of it. From the beginning, we heard this noise, and it sounded like a herd of goats running. It started getting closer and closer, and many of us were kind of like, what? And we get to the top of this hill, and we're doing some night hiking, just for fun and giggles. We had flashlights, and of course, we're all very curious to find out exactly what we were hearing. We had been hearing strange noises, and so we shined the light in the direction of the noise. And lo and behold, this thing lit up. All of us gasped, including I. This being what is now fully illuminated by our lights was unlike anything you could think or see in a movie. It was clung to a tree like some sort of tree spider or something, but also looked very human. It had dark, dead, leathery-looking skin, several arms that clung to the tree, and these massive black claws on each of its hands. That's how it clung on so well. The face was smaller but had these giant inward fangs. They reminded me of the giant teeth. They reminded me of giant-like teeth. They reminded me of giant teeth that were black. As soon as I shined my light on, I just knew that what we were dealing with in the moment, in my time, wasn't human at all. This was something very different altogether, and I'm ashamed to admit that even me, with military experience, fled in fear of this thing as we all did. We all went running for fear of this creature coming after us. As I was running, I was slipping and I fell. I looked up and the thing lunged at me, but barely missing me thanks to some thicker brush near right where I fell. I quickly was able to pull myself up, but I knew I didn't have a lot of time to separate myself from this thing. We managed to escape its grasp and lost it after we ran a bit further. All of us terrified and out of breath and unsure of what we had just encountered. For the longest time, I thought it was an alien. I mean, I've never heard or known of a creature like this in my life. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't know what we had encountered. And it wasn't until years ago when I found out the definition. It was something called a night spider, I guess. I learned it from an old native shaman when I arrived back in Germany. I'm glad to know that this is now becoming a known occurrence of what this thing probably is, although I've never heard anybody else ever talk about this creature. A lot of people think that this specific account is fake, as saying of sightings like this can be rare. I wanted to come out years ago with this, but I never had solid investigative case to back me up. The case and evidence was for all of you that want the truth. I know this is real. I have no reason to make this up. Please make my details anonymous. Thank you, what lurks beneath. Dang. Alright, guys. That's cool. I appreciate that, Kendall. Kendall? What's up? Yeah, no, I'm the guy that actually does narrations for What Lurks Beneath. So that's actually who I'm narrating stories for. Glad you're sticking in. Way cool. Appreciate that. I do horror stories all day. More so things like Wendigo, Skinwalker, Bigfoot, Dogman, Paranormal, Mothman, Jinns, Deep Woods stories, Park Ranger stories. If you like, Kendall, if you like creepy stuff and you're into all that stuff, you should go on my YouTube link and you could watch this guy narrate all these stories. Or you could watch my YouTube live, which I have right now. I want to do voice acting. I love acting. Specifically voice acting. I'm honestly surprised that this channel has not gotten me some gigs, man. I really am. At least some takers. Yeah, you should definitely do it. Alright, y'all. YouTube and TikTok. I'm going to take a short intermission for like an hour or two. I got to edit this up and finish it. And I got to make a couple of phone calls and do some stuff. But I will be back on here in probably like 2 hours, and we'll resume with more stories. I'm going to be doing Bigfoot and scary stories. So, yeah, this is just a short intermission, and I will see you guys all if I can pull up my stream here. Where's it at? Right here. All right, guys, I will see you all very shortly.